Astronomers have imaged a black hole with a powerful jet ejected from its surroundings. Scientists studying the galaxy M87 managed to capture the shadow of a supermassive black hole in the image along with a powerful jet of material emitted from its surroundings. These observations could provide new insights into how black holes produce these energetic jets of matter. For the first time in history, astronomers have simultaneously imaged the shadow of a supermassive black hole along with a powerful jet ejected from its vicinity. These observations were made in 2018 during the study of the galaxy Messier 87, M87, and were made with the Global Millimeter VLBI Array, GMVA, Atacama Large Millimeter, Submillimeter Array, ALMA. National Radio Astronomy Observatory, NRAO, Green Bank Observatory, GBO, Green Bank Telescope, GBT, and Greenland Telescope, GLT. The description and results of the observations were published in the journal Nature. At the center of most galaxies are supermassive black holes. While these objects are best known for consuming material in their immediate vicinity, we also know that powerful jets of material are ejected from their vicinity, extending for vast distances, often beyond the galaxies in which they reside. Scientists have long been trying to understand the mechanisms behind the emission of these streams of matter. We know that jets are ejected from regions surrounding black holes, said Ru-Sen Liu of the Shanghai Astronomical Observatory in China. But we still don't fully understand how it happens. To study this directly, we need to observe the beginning of the jet as close as possible to the black hole, he added. The first jet was observed in 1918 in the galaxy M87. The M87 galaxy, or Messier galaxy, is about 53 million light-years away. It is the largest and brightest object in the constellation Virgo. The supermassive black hole located there was the subject of the first ever image of a black hole, which was made public in 2019. A photo of its dense, dark core surrounded by a glowing ring made headlines around the world. This image was obtained by the Event Horizon Telescope (EHT) project. It is a network of radio telescopes scattered around the world that work at millimeter and submillimeter wavelengths. Together they form an Earth-sized telescope. Observations at slightly longer wavelengths revealed more detail in the surroundings of M87's supermassive black hole. M87 has been observed for many decades. We knew the jet was there 100 years ago, but we couldn't put it into context, said Ru-Sen Liu, adding that the observations they analyzed were conducted at a lower frequency, so more details could be seen. Using many different telescopes and instruments gave the team a more complete picture of the structure of the supermassive black hole and its jet than was previously possible with the EHT. We've seen the ring before, but now we see the jet. This puts the ring in context, and it is larger than we thought, said Eduardo Ross from the Ignacy Jan Paderewski Institute of Radio Astronomy. Max Planck. The original EHT imaging revealed only part of the accretion disk surrounding the black hole. By changing the observed wavelengths from 1.3 mm to 3.5 mm, we can see more of the accretion disk and the jet at the same time. This showed that the ring around the black hole is 50% more distant. Bigger than we previously thought, said Tony Minter of GBT. A black hole consumes matter from its surroundings. As it falls towards the black hole, it creates an accretion disk spinning around it. The matter in it moves at enormous speeds, which heats it up, and this in turn manifests itself in the emission of light. It is this disk that is the ring seen in the historic black hole image. The black hole partially absorbs this light, partially bends it, allowing us to see the regions of the disk behind the supermassive object. The black area in the center of the ring is referred to by researchers as the shadow of a black hole. Not only are the individual regions of the black hole larger and more detailed than previously revealed observations at shorter wavelengths. In the new image, it is possible to confirm the origin of the jet. It appears to have been created by the energy generated by the magnetic fields surrounding the black hole's spinning core. Winds generated from the accretion disk surrounding the massive object also played a role in the formation of the phenomenon. This study showed for the first time where the jet is formed. Previously, there were various theories about where they might come from, but this observation actually showed that the energy from the magnetic fields and winds from the accretion disk work together. Minter pointed out. Can fungi communicate? Their electrical signals resemble human speech. Buried in the forest floor or mushrooms sprouting from trees may appear to be silent and self-contained organisms. But new research suggests that they can communicate with each other. Previous work had shown that fungi conduct electrical impulses through long, thread-like structures called hyphae. Much like nerve cells transmit information in humans. Mathematical analysis of these signals has identified patterns that bear a striking structural similarity to human speech. Scientists have identified patterns of electrical activity similar to neural activity in the fungus. Moreover, these patterns appear to be comparable to similar structures found in human speech. Hence the idea that these organisms can communicate with each other. Electrical activity in the mushroom world has been known for years. But this is the first analysis to treat it as a form of language. This new approach may reveal things we didn't know before. Assuming that these impulses can affect cellular activities in the fungal network, the discovery could shed new light on how these organisms communicate. In the research, which was published in the journal Royal Society Open Science, computer scientist Andrew Adamatsky of the University of the West of England in the UK was able to identify up to 50 different words, or groups of spikes of electrical activity produced by the mushrooms. Assuming that spikes in electrical activity are used by fungi to communicate and process information in mycelial networks. We group these spikes into words, and provide a linguistic analysis and an analysis of the information complexity of the mushroom's electrical activity, Adamatsky theorizes in his new paper. The researcher looked at the electrical activity of 4 types of mushrooms, looking for patterns in ghost fungus, Omphalotus nidiformis, also known as ghost fungus, enoki mushroom, Flammellina volucipes, common cleft, Schizophyllum commune, and Cordyceps militaris. Electrical activity was detected and recorded using microelectrodes placed in places inhabited by fungi, and activity spikes were then ordered into groups. Each mushroom type differed in the duration and length of the electric spikes, with some lasting up to 21 hours. Common clefts have been shown to compose the most complex sentences. We don't know if there is any connection between activity patterns in fungi and human speech, Adamatsky told The Guardian. Possibly not. On the other hand, there are many similarities in information processing in living organisms. I was just curious about this comparison, adds the researcher. While comparisons with human speech are noteworthy, the research offers no clues as to what the fungus might be talking about, or why these organisms might need to maintain contact over a larger area. Given that the life of mushrooms is rather simple, there are not many possibilities that come to mind. It is possible that the signals are the fungi's way of alerting them to threats to their survival, or changes in available resources. For example, ecologist Dan Beber of the University of Exeter in the UK, who was not involved in the research, says there is still a long way to go before we can be sure if mushrooms are talking to each other. While interesting, interpreting this discovery as a mushroom language seems a bit too enthusiastic and would require much more research and testing. For now, we will not see mushroom language in Google Translate, adds Beber. Researchers tested the use of human urine to fertilize crops. A team of scientists from several institutions in Niger, Germany and the UK conducted large-scale trials of using human urine as a natural form of crop fertilization. It turns out that human urine can be used as an effective and sustainable fertilizer. Moreover, studies have shown that urine as a substitute for commercial chemical fertilizers can have a positive impact on the environment. Nowadays, using urine to fertilize plants may be considered disgusting, even though the practice has been beneficial to farmers for thousands of years. Current cultural conditions mean that farmers have to resort to expensive fertilizers to provide the plants with the nutrients they need. Meanwhile, it turns out that these components can be found in the urine. In some parts of the world, access to fertilizers is limited. Many farmers, for example in the remote regions of Niger, face depletion of nutrients in the soil as well as severe weather conditions. All this affects the yield. So a team led by a researcher at the National Institute of Agricultural Research of Niger, Hannatu Musa, set out to revive an ancient practice in parts of Asia of using urine as fertilizer. Research on the issue has been published in the journal, Agronomy for Sustainable Development. A group of Nigerian women volunteered to help Musa and her colleagues test the fertilizer with urine on their farms. In the rugged terrain of sub-Saharan Africa, women put more work into food production than men, but they have no control over land or resources. Nor do they have easy access to information. Women are often given the most nutrient-poor fields on which they grow the region's staple grain, pearl millet, Cenchrus americanus. The women named the fertilizing product Oga, which means boss in the Igbo language. This was to help overcome social, religious and cultural barriers that hinder open discussion about the use of human urine in fertilizing crops. The volunteers were then divided into two groups. The first continued to use traditional farming methods, while the second used Oga, with or without animal manure, on their experimental plots. Prior training was given on the safe use of this product. The production of industrial fertilizers usually requires intensive mining of ores containing phosphorus and potassium. Burning natural gas at high temperatures sequesters much needed nitrogen from the air we breathe, in one of the most energy-intensive chemical reactions in terms of CO2 emissions. Plants use all three of these elements, among other things, for photosynthesis. And yet our urine is full of phosphorus, potassium and nitrogen in readily available form. What's more, urine is relatively sterile when it leaves our body. All thanks to the ammonia contained in it. It is enough to store the urine containers at a temperature of 22 to 24 degrees Celsius for 2 to 3 months to destroy the remaining pathogens that are able to withstand a long period of residence in an acidic liquid. The women were thus trained in the process of sanitizing and diluting the resulting Oga for use. For the first few years they used Oga in combination with an organic fertilizer, and when it worked, they were brave enough to try Oga alone. Over 3 years, 2014 to 2016, in 681 trials, women who used OGA reported an average 30% increase in pearl millet yields. The difference was so marked that many other women in the area started using OGA as well. 2 years after the experiment, it turned out that more than 1,000 women began to use this fertilizer for their crops. OGA is a low-risk, low-cost fertilizer, ready to spread to sandy areas of the Sahel with low levels of pearl millet yields, the researchers wrote in their paper. If societies started using OGA in industrialized countries, we could not only increase crop yields and reduce the amount of fossil fuel resources needed to grow them, but also make our sanitation systems more sustainable. Research groups in Sweden, the US and Australia are also testing the possibility of utilizing urine fertilizer. Millions of dollars a year are spent treating our waste before it reaches our waters to meet acceptable criteria for nitrogen and phosphorus, says Griffith University researcher Cara Beale, discussing possible testing of the fertilizer in Australia. If we can close this nutrient loop, it makes a lot of sense in terms of sustainability, the circular economy, and taking care of our planet. Locusts can detect cancer. In the case of cancer treatment, the earliest possible diagnosis is always the most important. Over time, a patient's chances of survival may decrease significantly. Therefore, it is important to use all the tools that can help detect cancer at the earliest stage. Insects, commonly regarded as pests, can give us a helping hand on this plane. Researchers at Michigan State University have shown that locusts can not only sense the difference between cancer cells and healthy cells, but can also recognize different cancer cell lines, suggesting that it can detect not only the presence of cancer but also the type of cancer. However, the point is not that doctors keep insects trained in cancer diagnosis in their offices. This work could in the future provide the basis for devices that use insect sensory neurons to enable early detection of tumors from a patient's breath. The description and results of the research were published in the bioRxiv preprint database. We got used to the idea that the technology we have is able to significantly increase the possibilities that our senses give us. We can, for example, see distant galaxies and look inside our bodies. However, creating an electronic nose is still a challenge. And this despite the fact that work on the creation of such a device has been going on for more than 15 years. That is why, for example, we still rely on dogs in the context of detecting drugs or explosives. As it turns out, the sense of smell can also be useful in the context of cancer diagnosis, and above all, detecting them at an early stage, which is crucial for subsequent treatment. This is because cancer cells function in a different way than normal, healthy cells, and therefore also produce other chemicals. Therefore, if such chemicals were to enter our lungs, it would be possible to detect them in the air we exhale. Unfortunately, we currently do not have devices that would be able to detect these chemicals at the appropriate level. Therefore, scientists decided to reach for solutions existing in nature for centuries. The locust has a phenomenal sense of smell. The researchers wanted to study how these insects responded to specific odors. For this purpose, electrodes were attached to their brains to then study the reaction to chemicals produced by both healthy cells and cancer cells. Based on these observations, profiles of impulses generated in response to odors emitted by specific types of cells were created. It should be emphasized that this was not the first study of the locusts' ability to recognize smells. For example, in 2020 at Washington University in St. Louis, research was conducted on the ability of these insects to detect explosives. But back to cancer. The team of scientists focused on those found in the oral cavity. Because as it turned out during the research, some of the metabolic products produced by this type of cancer cells are volatile, and therefore they can be detected by smell. During tests with locusts, it turned out that the insects can not only distinguish diseased cells from healthy ones, but were even able to distinguish cells from 3 different types of cancer. Researchers have high hopes for this, because it could also detect other cancers whose metabolic products get into our breath, and there are probably quite a lot of such types of cancer.